Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for Web3 Weekly Alpha powered by Web3 CFL and InnerSpace Orlando. So glad to have you guys on our first episode. We're going to be going through all the crazy shit that happens in Web3 and crypto every single week together so we can stay up to date. I'm your host, Serpunk, and let's jump right into this week's news. First off, I'd like to cover the market analysis, see where we are in current medium and larger term trends that will encompass crypto, NFTs, and stocks. Starting off with some chart work. Shout out to Dylan Leclerc, where he says, largest amount of Bitcoin short liquidations since July 2021. As you can see here on the chart, shorts got absolutely wrecked. And that's a big reason that we're getting this nice bounce here in crypto. You can see it in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Also, shout out to Markets and Mayhem, where he says something similar, more on the global equity side. We have just experienced some of the most significant short covering by hedge funds in 6 years. And this is important, and I'll share it in a minute here. Shout out to Charlie, always dropping the fire data on Twitter. And here he says we have a 20% rally. Active managers are getting more invested. Their 85% average exposure to equities is the highest we've seen since the beginning of last year. And in late September, when the S&P 500 was at 3,700, the exposure moved down to 12%. So you can see that money, big money is coming back into the market after we've already bounced a good amount of time, a good amount in price, and we're also seeing a ton of short squeezing going on. So you got a ton of shorts with some hedge funds coming back in, active managers, and that's an interesting thing happening, so you can understand the market sentiment. All right, so you also, what's funny is when you couple that information with what's happening on the charts here. We got a Bitcoin pullback. It could be a pause of the short-term trend here. And of course, the market likes to mess with as many people as possible. So when you get shorts squeezed and they're kind of at max pain and just throwing in the towel, and then shorts starting to come, or I'm sorry, longs starting to enter the market as well. You couple those two things and the market starts to mess with everybody. So finally, after squeezing all the shorts, we're pulling back. And now the shorts are probably pissed, right? Shout out to Axel here, where he says Bitcoin may be forming a reverse head and shoulders, I'm sorry, here on the weekly chart. It's a multi-month long rectangle. And down here is where we're kind of showing that inverse head and shoulders pattern here. So the dip may be coming. It may be more of sideways action, more of chop. And we're still leaning bullish, still leaning with hopefully the lows we're in, and we can kind of just get some sideways action here. But the easy money and the constant breakouts every day in crypto seems to be on a short-term pause at a minimum. All right, so AI has been at the top of the news this week. Really, the last couple of weeks, you can see a chart here on Google Trends where you compare crypto and AI. AI being in the red, crypto in the blue, and AI is what's taken all the attention away from crypto and mainstream. And here are a couple coins related to AI technology and crypto, FET. And GRT, they went absolutely ballistic. They outperformed mostly all other crypto tokens that also bounced during this little season here of bullish action. So AI is definitely the place to be right now. And I think this is really just a meta that's getting started. All right, so let's jump into the NFT market. I just found out about Parsec, which is a charting platform, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm obsessed with it, and it'll be what I start to use moving forward. Highly recommend it. It gives you the nice clean candlesticks here. So here we're starting off with the leaders of the markets. Bored Ape Yacht Club, of course. It kind of looks like we have a reverse head and shoulders here, kind of like we did on the Bitcoin weekly chart. And we just triggered here through a pivot through the 70 ETH floor area and back over the 20 moving average, which is a short-term momentum moving average. So it's good to see the leader, the king of the yacht club here leading and showing some bouncage. So that can start to hopefully trickle down into the rest of the market, but we will have to see. Let's take a look. CryptoPunks is the new stablecoin. As you can see, it's just been going sideways for months. But you know what they say, the bigger the base, the higher in space. So if we can get through this 70 ETH mark right here, things could get real interesting. And even though a lot of floors just got absolutely wrecked during this crypto market, bear market, CryptoPunks has just shown a lot of resiliency and gone sideways. So I'm excited to see what happens when we break this level. Much more people are on profit, and maybe we get more of a bull market. Checks, which has been the absolute biggest return on your money in terms of NFTs in the last week or so. It's just, I really have never seen anything explode to the level that Checks has. The amount of derivatives that have come from it, the amount of success that those derivatives have received, some even more than the original Checks, has just been a beautiful thing to see. And you can see that this thing just in February went from around 0.5, to over 2.5 ETH, and it looks to be slowing down. You had the massive volume come in, right? So, but it kind of seems here like they're buying it up with the close of this candle, because we don't have the burn until Sunday, which we'll be getting into. So I'm wondering if we can still get some action ahead of that burn news, or if this was the full move and we're just kind of running out of steam here. Either way, congrats to everybody that nailed it. Congrats to Jack Butcher. They've really put on a show, and a hell of a move in Checks, which has been the leader. A project that has also done incredibly well this week that I'm not too familiar with, but the art looks really cool. You should check it out. It's a 3D project called A Kid Called Beast. It doesn't look to be done. It's still holding up relatively well after breaking out of this 0.6 area all the way to above 1.2. The run, like I said, is still kind of holding up, so let's see if that can continue as well. Good to see some bullish action again. Kampai Pandas, this has just constantly been up, breakout after breakout. As you can see here, we had our first breakout here at the beginning of the year, just riding this 20 moving average pretty much for the most part, all the way up. We had another breakout where we tested, and now it looks like we're starting to break out again. It is starting to get extended here, but some pretty cool news with a UFC fighter related to this project. Maybe that's what it is. The market always knows price equals news, so we'll be going over that later, but it's good to see some sort of project breaking out. Pudgy Penguins, which really kicked off the entire NFT bull market back up in December, took off strongly around the 3.5, 4 ETH floor price here, and began to break out all the way to 7 really fast. Got off, and now we're starting to consolidate. As long as we can hold this area, it's possible we can continue, but we did get some pretty big selling here, failed this pivot breakout, and again, if we can just hold this up, we'll talk about what's happening with the Blur air farming and the lack of bids from that, anticipating the drop on the 14th and what could be happening that is affecting floor prices and potentially floor prices like a Pudgy Penguins here. But definitely keep this on your radar, as it's one of the strongest communities out there and showing some of the most relative strength in terms of NFT prices. Azuki is definitely a blue chip. I think it's moved up to definitely top 3, top 4. As you can see, it sort of has that inverse head and shoulders look, kind of broke out, and then it's holding up strongly here. If we can get back above this 14 area, it's possible we get a nice little move here out of Azuki. It's been relatively quiet, but maybe after this whole Blur situation and we get back to normal, then we can get some moves here. So watching this, as it's also a leader in the market. Wrecked Guy was one of the big movers with the initial bounce off the bottom with your Pudgy Penguins and your Kampai Pandas. Really broke out and just really took the hell off, more than doubled in just a short couple weeks. You can see it got ahead of itself, now kind of coming back to retest that breakout level. If we can hold the 1 ETH area and kind of get back above these levels, then Wrecked Guy can continue, and we won't have to stay wrecked for too much longer, hopefully. On-Chain Monkey, this move was explosive. Really, it was completely overnight, where we went from around 0.6 to over 2.7 ETH. And the news was that the entire on-chain monkey NFT project, 10K NFT project, is being put on Bitcoin. We're going to be covering ordinals, which is the huge NFT craze happening on the Bitcoin blockchain. The On-Chain Monkeys was one of the first projects to be fully on-chain on Ethereum, and they claim to be the very first on Bitcoin. So people rushed in because the people who held the on-chain monkey NFTs on Ethereum are now going to be able to claim their Bitcoin brother NFTs or sister NFTs for free, and people rushed in here to buy them because they wanted that historical moment, those Bitcoin NFTs. So congratulations to the on-chain monkey to figuring it out, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that. But always be careful chasing, as chasers usually always get wrecked, and now it's pulling back pretty solidly. And let's see how much that Bitcoin provenance for on-chain monkeys is going to matter for the community here. So far, it's showing that it's pretty bullish news. All right, let's jump into some volume. We know that we were wrecked all of last year. Towards the end of December, we started to see some bouncage across floors. But what's fairly interesting to me is when you look at OpenSea monthly volumes, it did look like we just were going to evaporate to zero. But then we finally got a higher high in volume. And that's exciting because that means that maybe there's finally some people coming back in to buy. Maybe we did go through max pain. It's too soon to say as we've only gone through 1 month, but so far it's a friendly bar, and we're looking to see some more volume coming in like that on the monthly. The one thing that's discouraging is unique buyers here. When you look at all the platforms across the board, shout out to NFT statistics for this chart. Volume based on unique buyers is really not correlated here. We're seeing good volume, but we're not seeing good unique buyers increasing alongside with it. So I really want to start to see this number come up. So instead of us just selling NFTs to each other, we can get some new users coming in and starting to enjoy the NFT market as well, which would be very bullish. All right, so everybody knows that there's been a blur farming situation going on the last couple of weeks where people are just placing bids and looking to really farm the hell out of this blur airdrop that's coming out on February 14th. This ended up happening sooner than I had originally anticipated, as today is the 10th. But floors are ready to starting to lack the blur infinite bid that we've been seeing. So we're lacking those bids. A couple of floors really just dropped fairly quickly once this happened, as traders realized that this is sort of like hot potato into this blur airdrop on the 14th, and they don't want to get stuck holding the bag. We're already starting to see traders remove those bids, and some floors are getting hit. We are getting the blur airdrop, so that could be a catalyst to get some floors moving, as some of those whales and traders take that free airdrop and put it back into the ecosystem, we hope. But I think it's going to be a wacky couple of days into that airdrop, so just kind of be wary of that. And I'm going to miss that infinite blur bid on a lot of these floors. So let's jump right into some of the largest sales of the week. It's always good to see whales coming in and really putting a ton of money into some of these NFT JPEGs. It shows confidence in the market again, I think, the more large sales that we see. So jumping in, shout out to NFT Statistics, where he posts congrats to Jimmy ETH on selling this 800 ETH golden ape, over $1 million sale. Congrats to Jimmy. Man has just absolutely killed it as a trader and investor in the space. And congrats on the buyer here with a extremely rare ape. We also had a $1 million CryptoPunk sale here, a zombie. It did belong to Kevin Rose previously. Unfortunately, we know what happened to Kevin, where his wallet was compromised, and I'm sure he's doing some risk control here. So, but congrats on the buyer. And on the great sales from these guys. Another large sale. So Jimmy ETH took the profits from this ape, and he extremely quickly put it back into the market. As you can see, he bought a Twin Flames from Justin immediately for 111 ETH. Twin Flames is one of the most popular photography NFT projects. Shout out to Jimmy for the nice grab there. And then again, NFT Statistics, shout out to him where he lays out that a very rare Killer Bear has been sold for 40 ETH. It's an all-time high for the Killer Bears project on OpenSea. Killer Bears is a really interesting project that I think has a strong community. They've been dropping a lot of things. They just did an open edition for new holders where they raised over $1 million, and now you're going to be able to burn that in the upcoming weeks. So shout out to the Killer Bears ecosystem and the buyer on this super rare Killer Bear. Up next, we had a hoodie CryptoPunk sell for 295 ETH. The hoodie punks are grails, man. They're extremely rare, sought after. So congrats to the hoodie punks. They seem to be immune to bear markets. And shout out to Larva Labs, where they say that they announced that an Autoglyph, which is one of the first generative NFT projects on Ethereum, and CryptoPunk, they have been acquired by one of the biggest museums and most popular museums in Europe. This is my first time hearing about them, but they have put it as part of their permanent collection. These are the two NFTs right here. So super cool to see a prominent museum globally is acquiring NFT grails and really putting into the collection, and you just love to see that kind of stuff. So the founder of Memeland and Potatoes tweets that the project itself, Memeland, swept 8 Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs for over $1 million. There's rumors saying that they're going to raffle these off to the community. There's rumors saying that these NFTs are going to be integrated into the Memeland lore and be a part of the ecosystem. We don't know exactly what it's going to be used for, but that's a lot of money into the Bored Ape community, and I'm sure Memeland holders are excited to see how that's integrated. So we also have the first JPEG token, where it represents the 10 most popular NFT projects according to Cryptex Finance here. So they say the world's first total NFT market cap token. It's going to be on Arbitrum, and it's powered by Coinbase Chainlink. So you might say, what is represented in this token? We're shout out to Tyler D from Lucky Trader, and he lays it out here. So it's a Zuki, Bored Ape, Clone X, Cool Cats, Crypto Toads, Crypto Punks, Doodles, Mutants, V, Friends, World of Women. You might not agree with all of these, but for now, that's what's in this integrated into the token. And so instead of having to directly buy NFTs from these 10 ecosystems, you can simply buy the ERC20 JPEGs token that will get you exposure to these NFT projects. So it's a new way for people to get exposure to these projects if they don't have the amount of ETH that's required to get into some of these expensive ecosystems. So I'm going to be taking a look out for this token. I think that once NFTs really start to get more popular, it could be an interesting way to get access and a good alpha play. So got it. Is that better? Okay, cool. So now that we've covered the market, kind of updated on that, let's jump into what's happened this week. There's never a dull week or really a dull moment in NFTs and crypto in general, and it's a lot to keep up with. So let's see what we can remind ourselves of the craziness of this week here. So first, to start off, in good news here, we hope, is possibly the end of the contagion in crypto markets, ending with FTX as the last factor or domino per se in that contagion. So great news. Bankrupt lender Genesis and parent company DCG reached an initial agreement where they can finally make holders whole again, right? As you can see, the CEO of Gemini here says they've reached an agreement with Genesis. And other creditors that plan to provide a path for earned users to recover their assets. This agreement was announced in bankruptcy court today. So the good news about this is that the scare for many months now has been that DCG and GBTC, which they're the owners of, still had some risk in implosion, but it seems to have cleared out now that they have all come to an agreement, and they'll have the necessary funds to salvage whatever's been happening and just continue to make things better from here for everybody. So it's great to hear, and hopefully that we don't have any more contagion on the horizon. Let's jump into ordinals. It's been really the talk of the week outside of checks, where an upgrade in what's called Taproot, an upgrade in the Bitcoin blockchain ecosystem, has allowed a new way to create an NFT ecosystem on Bitcoin. Let's jump right in. So shout out to Cantino, where he says, he really just breaks down what ordinals are, TLDR real quick. Is it's not a project or a collection, it's data or images that are inscribed, which is the equivalent of minting on Ethereum for Bitcoin, inscribed onto the chain, on-chain sats, Bitcoin units. Sats are just a smaller version of Bitcoin, and by node owner. So it cannot be sold or created without a node. Up until this point, it's been very difficult to sell or create them because you got to run a full Bitcoin node. Most people don't have the funds or the technical know-how to do that yet. And all buying has been done OTC, over the counter only. Google Sheets, Discord, DMs, it's the wild, wild west going on over there. But the important thing is we are having conversations about utility for Bitcoin. So it's really been a huge controversy. Bitcoin maximalists have been saying, man, this is not what Bitcoin blockchain was meant to be. This is not what Satoshi's vision was for Bitcoin. This is supposed to be a financial infrastructure for the world. And these NFTs are taking up space and taking up block space for this to be the financial layer for the world. And some of the other Bitcoin enthusiasts are saying we are finally getting some really good excitement over here on the Bitcoin blockchain. If ordinals is what it takes, then so be it. And it just kind of depends who you talk to, but it's definitely still up in the air, the community consensus on ordinals right now. So Trevor, who's a Bitcoin maxi, says the first ever gas war on Bitcoin is happening right now as the global NFT community rushes to inscribe the final 1,000 of the first 10,000 ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs ever made. Historical moment. So there's never been a gas war on Bitcoin. And Ethereum, we're very used to gas wars, as a lot of NFT mints have caused them, and we've been stuck in the middle of them. So Bitcoin is finally getting to understand our pain, but that also means that there's a lot of usage of block space on Bitcoin. So this could be a positive. Mike Dudas, who's the founder of Six Man Ventures, helped found Block. The crypto media company. He says, we made our first Bitcoin investment ever as a firm at his fund, Six Man Ventures, and it seems to be related to ordinals NFT, some sort of infrastructure or startup that is building around that Bitcoin ecosystem. So that's really cool to see. And Big If True, Gamma.io says, so you want a Bitcoin ordinal? Start with Bitcoin full node, as we explained earlier. And they say, no. For the past year, we focused on making the best creator tools possible. Today, we're launching a no-code ordinal inscriptions to anyone with a Bitcoin address. So you no longer have to go and run a full Bitcoin node and be a crypto tech bro. You can now use their service, and they will handle all that stuff on the back end, and you just kind of work with them to figure out what you would like to inscribe and the image and all that good stuff. So huge if true. Definitely going to do a deeper dive on them. It's definitely a gold rush right now on the Bitcoin blockchain with ordinals. As you can see here, somebody took derivative CryptoPunks project from Ethereum. They put it on Bitcoin and named it the Ordinal Punks. And they have recently just flipped the CryptoPunk floor, which is absolutely mind-blowing because CryptoPunks are absolute grails on Ethereum. They're one of the most expensive NFT projects. And you literally have people selling these to each other on Google spreadsheets. And the floor has surpassed Ethereum, as you can see here. Ethereum CryptoPunks are around 100 grand, and some of these are now starting to sell above that. So, and you can see here that this Ordinal Punk sold for 164 ETH, 11.5 Bitcoin, and that was a new all-time high. That was just, I believe, today or yesterday. And again, this is starting to get really euphoric here in the Bitcoin Ordinal NFT community. Be careful with where you're getting in and how much you're getting in, and And remember that these are still derivatives. They are historic. There's only 100 of them, so that could be what's driving up the price. But of course, do your own research. You don't want to get caught up in any euphoric moves, as we know how those can end. So Leonidas.og, the historic NFT man, where he says, "I just spent. Why did I just spend close to 3.5 Bitcoin to acquire these 2 alien and 6.8 punks on Bitcoin?" So out of the 100, he bought himself a total of 8 of the ordinal punks. He bought several rare of them for a pretty big ticket price. Again, we had another big buyer here, Dingaling, where he says, "I just acquired 7 ordinal punks for a total of 211 ETH. That's about 340,000 currently for 7 Bitcoin CryptoPunks." You can see them here. And really, you're starting to see a lot of these influencer whales buy these with some big conviction, thinking they're going to be the next big thing. I don't really have too strong of an opinion. I think because they're derivatives, it just kind of makes it hard to have some really strong conviction. But again, there's only 100. They're historic. They're one of the first NFTs on Bitcoin. So let's see where that goes. On-chain monkeys, again, we talked about them earlier. On-chain monkey is the first 10K collection to be inscribed on Bitcoin via ordinals. If you own an Ethereum on-chain monkey Genesis NFT, you will get. You'll also be owning a Bitcoin on-chain monkey Genesis. So it's completely on-chain on Bitcoin on February 8th. They claim to be the first 10K project to ever do so, and they did that. They did this as well back on Ethereum in 2021. So shout out to the on-chain monkeys, and that's again why we saw the floor go over 300% overnight last night. Let's jump into some crypto news here. So Binance, they're suspending bank transfers as of February 8th. You really don't like to see it. The suspension expected to last a couple of weeks until they can find a new banking partner that will work with them to allow their users to onboard and offboard fiat. There's a rumor that's saying there's a lot of attacks going on to crypto companies right now. Some of the big banking companies are deciding not to work with crypto companies, as you can see here. Binance is the biggest crypto brokerage in the world. They have significant market share from crypto assets, and this is a pretty big deal. And now, if you didn't take your money out before that date, then you're stuck until they're able to find that new partner. Staking has been a big deal this week as the SEC has come after Kraken, one of the largest crypto brokerages in America, and essentially forced them to shutter their crypto staking operations and pay a $30 million fine. Coinbase, who hasn't gotten hit yet, is down big, as you can see here. They're down over 15% over the last couple of days. But this could be a big hit to Coinbase, as crypto staking, in particular Ethereum staking, is 11% of their revenue. And the CEO of Coinbase has come out and said that we will be fighting the SEC on this, as we want to protect users from government overreaching and taking users' rights. So this is definitely bad news, but it's not the end of the world here, because at the end of the day, we do have DeFi, an alternative to these CeFi brokerages where you can still stake your crypto and your Ethereum, and it's completely trustless. So this is what I believe this is going to drive more volume to a lot of these other DeFi protocols to stake your Ethereum now that you can't do it with the CeFi brokerages. So your largest liquid staking protocol, Lido, which has significant market share, I'm assuming is going to increase its market share as a lot of these people from Kraken and Coinbase head there. Rocket Pool and a lot of these other tickers are in this liquid staking protocol sector, and really, I think that if you start to regulate CeFi, more people are going to go to DeFi, and then eventually we're just going to be more full-on DeFi, and that's just better for everybody. So, but for those people that didn't have 32 ETH or didn't have the technical know-how to stake on their own, these brokerages offered a good alternative to stake for retail. So you don't really love to see it. SEC continues to show that they don't really know what they're doing when it comes to crypto. But hopefully they can work with these brokerages as long as they have some disclaimers, then we can get these services back up for users. And hopefully Coinbase can continue to fight back stronger than Kraken against the SEC for users. All right, so moving on to the checks movement. NFT statistics, shout out to him, where he says on VV Checks, Jack Butcher, the founder of Checks, has made $128,000 on the original mint, where he sold them for $8. And so far on the secondary market, he's made $385,000 on royalties, total of around $515,000. Vincent Van Gogh, who created a derivative of Checks, he just made more than 3x the total that Jack did in a day, where he netted over $1,500,000 on the mint itself, which is just absolutely insane. Man, the checks movement has really been something that I've never seen before in the space. Shout out to Jack Butcher, where he said a couple days ago here that the Super Burn Sunday is happening. So instead of the Super Bowl Sunday, this is going to be the day, just in 2 days from now, where you can be able to burn your checks, where there's a complicated burning mechanism. And there's going to be only a few amounts of the one black check that everybody wants. And that based off the market cap is going to be millions of dollars, right? Which is kind of crazy. I don't really think it's going to be that price. It's a bit euphoric right now. But again, people are looking forward to the mint. To the burning. People are looking forward to be able to getting that black check. And Jack has just put on a master class on how to build hype on an open edition and keep people excited. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this check project continues to do into the burn on Sunday. We did get this decent pullback, and it could revive now that he came out with that tweet and people get excited for that burn again. Let's see. So this is on the left here, the Pepe's check project that Vincent Van Gogh netted $1.5 million on. I did mint, as I just instantly knew this was going to be a classic. It was just too good. And then Vincent Van Gogh himself tweeted out, "When burn?" So we are hoping to now being able to burn our Pepe checks for something new that Vincent will be dropping for us, and that we have yet to see what it will be. And there has been dozens and dozens of checks derivatives from Jack's, but also Vincent's Pepe check project. You're even seeing people create coffee bags due to the fact that all this is C0, of course. And it's just incredible what happens when things are CC0 and something is really hyped up and people just want to create cool shit. All right, moving into NFT news. Shout out to Lucky Trader, who's always dropping the alpha. The alpha on Yuga Labs, they just revealed the next 3 steps that is in the roadmap for this year. February 10th, so Dookie Dash has officially closed. In a couple days, the scores will be validated. On the 15th, the summoning will happen. Something called Lick the Toad will be coming at the end of the month. Your mechas are going to reveal, and then there's just some other things that are going to come here. But what I'm excited for, as you can see here, is Bored Ape Yacht Club on the 15th is going to expose the final leaderboard, the people with the top scores in Dookie Dash, and the winner of the key will be announced. And everybody's speculating there's only going to be one key, and the top gamers in the world have been playing hours and hours to have a chance at this key and to upgrade their sewer passes and to unlock a more rare NFT. As we know that this is a skill-based gaming minting NFT. So it is going to be really exciting. I think this is a really transformational shift in Web3 gaming at its most basic level. And you finally had some Web2 gamers that stream with huge followings come over into the Web3 space. And also, Other Side is not done with the alpha, and they dropped this as a standalone 2D experience powered by ApeCoin will be coming after we return from the second trip. There is some rumors that this will be in connection with Tech ATF. As you can see, the Japanese lettering on here, and we know that they recently bought out Tech ATF and the whole team over there. So I'm a supporter and really enjoy both projects, so I'm excited to see what happens there. In other news in Web3, Poof, who is one of the founders of EtherOrcs, which was a popular NFT gaming project, unfortunately says, after much contemplation, we have made the difficult decision of halting new development for EtherOrcs. So you hate to see it. They were really one of the really smart teams, just putting things out with a cool community for gaming, and it looks like that is coming to an end. But I'm sure that team will not be going anywhere, and they will continue to build cool shit in the Web3 space. But again, it's really hard to sustain these projects after the hype dies down, and a lot of that volume kind of went away. So those secondary royalties were lost for these founders to invest back into the project. So just kind of the where we at in the market cycle here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some more of that. Some big news in a court case here that a lot of us have been waiting on to see the verdict, where a popular Meta Perkins brand, they went ahead and they sued the artist Rothschild, and Rothschild was the one that created the Meta Perkins NFT project. And the original brand comes out and says that this is a breach of a trademark law, and essentially the court sided for the company over the artist in this situation. And it looks like in the future, physical items with trademarks will also be applied to digital goods and NFTs. So you're going to see brands start to pivot and be careful on using any sort of related content or design from big brands, because they don't want to get caught up in court as Mason Rothschild has. All right, Compai Pandas, which you saw the chart is just absolutely booming. It has been for weeks without even really a serious pullback. They dropped some massive news where they have teamed up with the baddest motherfucker on the planet, Johnny Bones, to help spearhead the KP brand. So this is a big deal. As we know, Johnny Bones is one of the most well-known UFC fighters in history, and he's going to be rocking some merch at a future fight. So shout out to them. Shout out to the Reddit platform for dropping these Super Bowl NFTs. Super Bowl coming up on Sunday, where you were able to choose from, I think, about 4 or 5 different Super Bowl NFTs on Reddit. It was extremely easy to use. All you had to do was make an account, put in a password, and choose your NFT, and it just gets held in the Reddit vault for you. Reddit is single-handedly onboarding millions of people into the Web3 space without them even knowing. In total, you can see there's been millions and millions of mints in Reddit NFT avatars in the past. And just in this recent Super Bowl Reddit avatar NFT drop, there's been 1 million minted in the first 4 days. So I really do think Reddit has put on a masterclass to onboard the mainstream without them knowing it and making digital collectibles cool. So I do think that at some point that's really going to kick off. And right now we're starting to see those numbers, but it's starting to creep up slowly. Also, we have the artist People Pleaser, who runs a Web3 video platform and has done a ton of IP work and video work with top NFT projects. They are directing the new Linkin Park music video that just dropped called Lost, and it has their main character, White Rabbit, from their anime series in the video. So this is really cool. This could be Linkin Park's first step into Web3. And it seems like every week we're starting to see another brand or another world artist step their feet in. So it's good to see. Pudgy Penguins taking the route similar to Sappy Seals, where Sappy Seals recently just came out with their meme machine, where it's easily accessible to the community to populate Sappy Seal related memes at really just in really just a quick prompt, as similar to ChatGPT's, OpenAI's DALL-E, if you've ever used DALL-E. So Pudgy Penguins teamed up with Imagine AI, where you can simply put in a prompt and your Pudgy Penguin memes will be basically created within seconds, and it has, you can see, very high quality output. So shout out to the Pudgy Penguins, man. I really do think they have an incredible team. They're constantly shipping. I think they have the right idea on their brand and how to utilize the IP. So they're empowering their community to continue to support and to market for them. And I think that's just a genius move. Super Bowl Sunday, we talked about it, but we didn't talk about Digi with their free mint. The founder has done Super Bowl ads in the past. This is nothing new to him. But they're spending millions of dollars to be one of the only crypto-related companies to have a Super Bowl commercial. It's going to be a free mint. The rumor is there's going to be some sort of QR code or a way for anybody watching to easily gain access to a free NFT related to the Digi ecosystem. So as you can see here, the Digi Dragons is the name of the project, and they say, we are excited to announce the biggest and the most massive collection in the Digi universe. There is a chance for you to sign up prior to the Super Bowl and have a chance to get whitelisted, as you can do that here. But I'm really interested to see how Limit Break, the company who's behind Digi runs this free mint. As the founder likes to say, the free model is the movement that's really going to take over NFTs, and I think he may be onto something. So I'll definitely be there watching and trying to get my free NFTs, right? And this is a chart of Digi on the daily, where you can see it's just kind of been going sideways. They are holding around 8 ETH floor right now. So a few of their projects have a decent priced floor. So let's hope to see that free mint do something similar, right? I would love that as I'm trying to get some of these mints. So shout out to them and telling them over there at Limit Break, good luck with their Super Bowl drop. All right, so Web3 CFL, this podcast is powered by us here in Central Florida, where there is, if you are in the Central Florida area, there is the first ever NFT exhibition here at the Orlando Museum of Art. NFTs continue to go mainstream. Some of the biggest names in the NFT space are showcased at the physical museum. People like Grant Yoon, Jake Fried, Aku, the NFT project, and just a ton of great artists in the NFT space are being showcased here, and it was just a great, a great collection, and the Fabio Sandoval collection, to be exact, where this guy just owns a bunch of grails and was nice enough to showcase them at the museum. A ton of us from the community showed up to check it out. If you're in the Central Florida area, I highly recommend it. And it's good to finally see Orlando start to embrace this new wave of NFTs and this digital renaissance. So that's all we got this week for you guys. We'll be doing this Web3 Weekly Alpha every single week, so together we can get caught up in everything happening in crypto and Web3. We are doing this show from the virtual bar inside of XCopy's metaverse. So come visit us in here if you want to come hang out with us. But again, thank you for joining, and we will see you guys next week for another episode of Web3 Weekly Alpha.